I'd bring home rice and meat every single day, yet I was still starving 3 meals out of 3, because the food I brought home would just vanish. No explanation. None. At first I figured someone was breaking in and stealing, but I staked the place out for days, not a single thief showed up, and somehow the food was still disappearing. Right when I was completely stumped, I noticed something. My neighbor, this broke scholar, had suddenly gotten all chubby and well-fed. To test my theory, I did the same thing as usual, brought the food home, then peeked through a crack in the wall to spy on the guy next door. And I saw this girl in white robes holding an empty bowl, muttering something under her breath. The next second, a bowl of coarse rice appeared out of thin air. Her face lit up when she saw it. She quickly poured the rice into a basin and just kept on muttering. On my side of the wall, I shot up and bolted straight to my rice jar, stared at the bottom of my nearly empty jar. There was barely a thin layer of rice left in there, and right in front of my eyes, every last grain disappeared one by one. Not a single one left, cleaner than if a dog had licked it. I sprinted back to the crack in the wall and looked through. Sure enough, the girl's bowl was full again. Damn it! You're seriously trying to starve me to death, not leaving me even a sliver of a chance. Before I even finished ranting, I felt something get yanked near my hand. Before I could even react, the cured meat hanging on the wall was gone too. Not long after, the smell of rice drifted over from next door. The girl finished making a gorgeous clay pot rice with cured meat, then shifted right into a snow-white fox, and cutely hopped into the cage nearby. I glared at that fox next door, absolutely fuming. Damn you, Zhang Dashan, if you just turned that fox into a coat, none of this would be happening. See, a few months back on a rainy night, my neighbor, a hunter named Zhang Dashan, went up the mountain and caught a white fox. Zhang Dashan was going to use the pelt to make a fur collar, but the broke scholar next door, for some reason that night, went and sold the 2 acres of farmland he had just to buy that fox. And ever since the fox moved in to repay the kindness, my miserable life began. I became the chosen one, the worker drone, grinding away and starving myself to feed the man and beast next door. Smelling the rice from next door, I quickly stuffed sand into the crack, terrified the fox spirit would catch me spying. Then I rubbed my growling stomach, eyes burning with bitter rage. I scrimped and saved, and it all went to feeding that deadbeat scholar next door. But how do I get rid of the fox spirit? My head was a total mess. No plan whatsoever. Sigh, that thing uses actual sorcery. I should be grateful she hasn't come after me. There's no way I could kill a demon. Just as I was turning away in frustration, I stopped dead. Looked back to where the cured meat had vanished. There was a bead about the size of a pigeon egg, glowing with a warm red light. And the craziest part, it had Pluzzy 40 floating above it. Right then, my vision went blurry. A panel popped up. Name, Shu Yi. Skills, none. Points, 0. Detected a strange dropped point. Collect? Collect! I said it without thinking. The second the word left my mouth, that crimson bead on the ground disappeared. The golden finger panel flickered. Name, Shu Yi. Skills, none. Points, 40. No way. A golden finger. My golden finger. I grinned ear to ear, then forced myself to calm down and started studying how it worked. Turns out, wherever the supernatural passes through, it drops points and skills. All I had to do was collect the drops and use them to level up my skills directly. But when I looked at the skills section, completely empty, I couldn't help but feel cheated. What's the point of having points with no skills to put them into? Still, after thinking it through, I realized, if the fox spirit can already drop points, she might drop skills too. Even if I can't touch the fox spirit right now, I've got a golden finger. It's only a matter of time before I come out on top. After that, I rubbed my loudly growling stomach, grabbed a rope and a shovel, and headed up into the mountains. They're over there, stuffed full, while I'm out here starving. Not long after, I came back to the village carrying a roe deer. But right as I hit the village entrance, I stopped. There was a guy in rough cloth clothes walking toward me, holding a snow-white fox. Tall, elegant, almost annoyingly good-looking. It was my nemesis, the broke scholar from next door, Fu Yanji. Isn't this Shu Yi? Look at you, all pale and bony. Still haven't starved to death yet? Fu Yanji stepped right in front of me, eyes full of mockery. I snorted coldly, wary of the fox demon's power, not sure whether to clap back. But Fu Yanji had already walked past me, tossing a look of pure disdain over his shoulder with a sharp The little fox in his arms glared at me too, those sharp, clever eyes full of unmistakable human-like intelligence. I watched the two of them walk away. I spat hard on the ground. Whatever. One day I'm gonna be the king of all fox demons. Just as I was muttering to myself, my vision blurred again, and I spotted something drop right off the fox spirit's body. A ball of red light. But Fu Yanji and the fox spirit didn't seem to notice it at all. Whoa, is that— Ha ha ha, another drop! I rushed straight over to the bead. Wanted to see what good stuff the fox spirit dropped this time. But when I got there and looked, I felt a little let down. Just another experience orb with +5. Not the skill I was hoping for. Still, I shook it off pretty quick. Something dropping is better than nothing. Once I actually get some skills, the points will really matter. Stacking up now is never a bad idea. I collected the points. Panel updated. Points 45. I grabbed the roe deer and headed back to my yard. Hung the unskinned roe deer on the wall, then sat down in the corner of the room and just stared at it. Waiting. Didn't take long. The roe deer vanished right off the wall, leaving only a red gold bead sitting in its place. I was so ticked off my teeth were grinding. Then I heard muffled complaining from next door. Why isn't this roe deer skinned? That lazy hunter next door is getting worse every day. Guess I gotta do it myself. Listening to those barely audible complaints, I stepped up and quietly collected the experience, shaking with rage. This is too much. This is way too much. After collecting the points, I stood in front of the wall, carefully peeked through the crack. Next door actually had 2 oil lamps burning. The scholar wasn't inside. The girl in white quickly finished cooking another fragrant clay pot rice, then shifted back into a white fox, hopped up onto the Kang bed. Just then, footsteps came from outside, and in walked broke scholar Fu Yanjie carrying a bucket of water. I don't know which passing immortal has been blessing me, but I'm grateful. Though honestly, roe deer every single day, I'm kinda getting tired of it. If tomorrow you could send a bowl of chicken instead, that'd be even better. Thank you, great immortal. After that whole dramatic thank you speech, he sat down and dug in, then picked up a piece of meat and fed it straight to the little fox. Who the hell should be thanking who? I'm next door grinding my back teeth to dust. After dinner, the scholar cleared the table and sat down at his old beat-up desk. The little fox trotted over with a gold leaf in its mouth from who knows where, and hopped right into the scholar's lap. All right, time for our nightly reading session. Wait, where did this come from? The scholar, still holding the fox, noticed the gold leaf it had brought over. He turned it over, completely stunned. A page made of actual gold. That's unreal. What kind of text needs to be engraved on solid gold? Where did you even find this, little fox? Genuinely curious, he held it up and said, "Let me see what this scripture is actually about. These look like characters from the ancient era. Lucky my teacher went over this with me not too long ago." Meanwhile, I was still peeking through the crack, watching that golden page. Suddenly, 2 clusters of golden skill points dropped right off it. I blinked, couldn't believe it. That gold page was no ordinary thing. It was a chapter on something divine and powerful. Something about revering the gods and banishing all evil.